To get today's session started, allow me to invite Organizing Chairman, Past President Choo to deliver his welcome address.
Good afternoon to all Rotary leaders and my fellow Rotarians. I would like to welcome everyone of you to Sungai Petani. My name is Choo. I will be the organizing chair for this previous one. First of all, we are honored to have District Governor Dato Bindi Rajasegaran with us today. Despite your busy schedule, you never fail to support us. Thank you, DG. We are proud and honored to be given this opportunity to organize the previous one by DGE Dr. Krishna Kumar. Thank you, DGE, for having trust in this staff. And I know the district secretary team and district training team have put in a lot of effort in preparing this previous one. And I have to say, you guys have done a fantastic job. Well done to everyone. There are two persons, my two gurus, which have consistently supporting me in this previous one that I must mention their name today. One is the IMN of our club, PAG Huiji. Another person is the mighty superman of our staff, PAG Dr. Bernard Chan. Thank you. My dear incoming AG and President-elect, I believe after this training, you all will gain a lot of useful Rotary knowledge and leadership skills. So I wish you all the best in your Rotary journey. And be careful, pay attention in the class, okay? And the most important people I must thank today is my club president, Gopal, and all members of Rotary Club Sungai Petani. Without your support, this event is just a mission impossible. However, a small confession. There's a member in this club that keeps reminding me, Choo, please make sure that you do your job nicely. If you fail, I have to make you the OC again during my term as previous one. Thank you, DG Yawin, for your stressful training. And also thank you so much for hosting the fellowship dinner at my salon yesterday. Thank you, Awin. Management team, Ms. Yo and Sophia, I have to say your service is purely masterclass. There's so many changes for the past 3 weeks, but you all just make sure that everything is in order for us. Thank you so much. Last but not least, my sincere apologies if there's any shortcoming or anything we overlook. Please contact me directly on my team. We'll be happy to help. Thank you.
Thank you, Organizing Chairman, Past President Choo. Just two things to add to OC Choo's speech just now. When he mentioned that DG has got a very busy schedule, he's right. She flew in from KL at 7 today, and she's leaving at 6 a.m. tomorrow. So thank you, DG. Really appreciate that. And secondly, Choo, you're not going to be the OC for the pre-press, you're going to be Assistant Governor in 24-25. So you're not going to run away from that. Anyway, moving on. Now to get the formal part started, I would like to invite incoming District General Secretary Sandra and past Assistant Governor Sandra and Raj to do the roll call as well as explain the House rules for today.
Good afternoon, everyone. Convenor, DG Dr. Krishna, DG Dr. Bindi, friends. Some housekeeping rules for this afternoon and tomorrow. Firstly, the masks, please keep them on, and I think the organizing club actually has signages to go around and show you please put your mask on. So let's keep it on because we were not able to put 1 meter distance between you. Right, and your name tags upon completion, or if you're running away early tomorrow, please make sure to return the name tags to the Secretariat. We are going to reuse name tags for pets too and pets as well. There is water at the back of the hall, yeah, on that side. So you can actually, we're not using plastic bottles. We don't want to, in line with our recycling and things like that. So please grab the mask and refill it. Yeah. Now, inside of your name tags, you have the lunch vouchers, but it's written there breakfast. Don't worry, we accept it when you go down for your lunch break. I think most of you have used the first one today. There should be a second one for tomorrow. Dinner tonight, all those who are attending, please wait at 7:15 in the lobby. And those who wish to drive, you can. We will send the directions in the WhatsApp, but those who want to partake in the fellowship and don't want to drink and drive, our organizing club has kindly organized transportation for us. So just wait in the lobby at 7:15. Your handphones, please keep it on silent throughout the training. And coffee breaks will be in the hall, so you don't actually have to, yeah, so they will bring the coffee in. Lastly, I'd like to introduce the Secretariat. So as Arvind said, I will be the incoming District General Secretary for next year. Some of my Secretariat members are at the back of the hall. I think Shirley, say hello. The coordinator. We've got Dr. Raj. Dr. Raj will be handling events. So you would have noticed you received updates from him with regards to PPETS 1. So you will get updates on PPETS 2 and PETS. So all the events he will be handling. We have Nikki, Past Assistant Governor Nikki. Nikki will handle Rotary action groups. And of course, Bernard, Dr. Bernard, handles publication. The rest of the Secretariat team is not here, but I'd like to highlight one. Shanti will be handling the district government. Now, she will be the person to contact if you need to book installation dates, which are actually open. If your club has got any dates in mind, please contact Shanti. Yeah. So now I'd like to do the roll call of clubs. We're doing it by groups. So those who are present, please stand up. Those who are at home, please give it a wave so we know that you're there. So we'll start with group 1, which includes the club. So let's welcome Rotary Club Bandar Sungai Petani, Arasu, and Kumar. I think the table at the end there, Bandar Sungai Petani. I didn't. All right. Group 2, we have Rotary Club of Penang, Georgetown, Tanjung Bunga, and Kulin. Group 3 includes the home club of our district trainer, Dr. Baskaran. We've got Butterworth, Seberang Jaya, Penang, Strait, and Bukit. Group 4, Korean, Taiping Lake, Kamunting, and Kuala Kangsar. Group 5 includes our district governor, Dato Bindi's club, Greentown, Ipoh South, Metro Ipoh, and Kinta. Group 6, Setia 1, Teluk Intan, and Sri Tangkajong. Group 7, home club to next year's Vice Governor PDG Leslie. We have Gombak, Titiwangsa, Bukit Angkasa, Subang, and Hartamas. Group 8, be our DGE Dr. Krishna's Club, Malawati, Kapong, Shalam, and Sentu. Malawati are all in isolation. Okay. Group 9, we have Bukit Jalil, Kuala Lumpur City Centre, Bangsa, and Mont Kiara Gateway. So maybe you can stand up to represent Bangsa. Group 10 consists of Kampung Baru City Centre, Bukit Kiara Sunrise, Klang Valley, and Petaling Jaya. Group 11, Metro Kuala Lumpur, Damansara West, Cheras, and Sri Petaling. Group 12, Bernam Valley, Damansara Heights, Pantai Valley, Ara Damansara, and Ramanputra. Group 13, Bandar Utama, Central Damansara, Sungai Way, Ampang, and I believe Rajita from Club 1 Kuala Lumpur is also in this group. Group 14, Kuala Lumpur, Diraja, Kelana Jaya, Puchong, and Greater Kuala Lumpur.
Hi, everybody.
Hello from greetings from KL Raja.
Greetings. Greetings.
Group 15, Pudu, Kuala Lumpur West, Utara Subang Jaya, and Bukit Bintang. Group 16, Damansara, Bandar Sunway, Lake Garden, Alpha Ampang. Group 17, Port Klang, Bandar Bukit Tinggi, Klang Central, and Tanjung Merah. Group 18, Tampin, Bahau, Kuala Pilah, Seremban. Group 19, Kajang, Senawang, Port Dickson, and July Central. Group 20, West Pahang, Temerloh, Metro Kuantan, Diraja. Group 21, Kuantan, Indra Mahkota, and Kota Baru. And last but not least, the latest edition, I believe the Charter President is just online, Seremban Gateway. Covered everyone? Thank you very much.
Thank you, PAG Sandra. Sorry, I misplaced the program. Okay, since this is a training event, we shall now invite incoming district trainer, past district governor, Dr. Baskaran Gopalakrishnan, to deliver his training briefing. Please also ask all those attending virtually to kindly mute your microphones. Thank you.
Good afternoon, President-elects, incoming assistant governors, members of my training team, and the district secretary. Let me first and foremost, from the bottom of my heart, thank you for attending this pre-patch one. It's been a difficult few days ever since we got the news of our DGE testing positive for COVID, and we feel his absence at this event here today. But he has been kind enough to ensure that he is present with us virtually. It has also affected our attendance here today, but the fact is that many of you have come here to be in person, And the rest have all been attending. I think they are all going to attend virtual today. So I want to thank each and every one of you, whether you are here or attending virtually. And that's the spirit of Rotary. That's how Rotary functions always be held. So thank you, my presidents. We had a very good start to the event yesterday. It was a dinner that was hosted by Mr. Governor nominee designate, Arvind, and we are really grateful. I think all of us who turned up yesterday had a great time. Don't you all agree? And I think we should all give an applause to Arvind. And every Petani has once again said in organizing an event. And I believe the organizing team led by Choo and all the members of the club have gone out of their way to be friendly, have taken into consideration all our needs. And thank you, Rotary Club of Understand. Thank you. We are very grateful to our district governor, Dato Bindi Rajasegaran, for being here with us today. Governor Bindi is such a busy person. I myself wonder how she's coping with or without the COVID. She's here, she's there. And I really admire your commitment, your passion for Rotary. And we are very blessed that you are here today. I think all of us should give an applause for a big one. You have been very inspiring and sincere. Thank you so much. The training team have been working on our programs almost a year now. And we live in a period of uncertainty. And what we did was we have started with the learning center modules of president-elects. We had 3 such sessions, and I'm happy that majority of the presidents have taken the trouble to be with us for the Zoom sessions, 3 so far. And this training is the first of the physical one that we are having for this particular Rotary year. The purpose of pre-pets is manifold, but the main thing is basically the first pre-pets is for each and every one of you, the president-elects, to get to know each other, because we are all going to be part of one team. We are all going to belong to Team Krishna. So it's important that each and every one of you know each other. Try to discuss with each other what are the things that you would like to know from another club. You could even look at ways in which you can cooperate later when you become presidents. And in your case, some of you have not met your assistant governors, correct? You didn't have an opportunity to meet your assistant governors. So today is an opportunity, today and tomorrow. You make it a point to get in touch with your assistant governor. This is important because in Rotary, the way we have structured Rotary, assistant governors play a very important role. They are the main resource person for all you president-elects. They can guide you, they can assist you, and you have a friend in an assistant governor. So these are some of the very important things that you're going to gain by attending pre-pets here today. In addition, we have planned this 8 months before you assume office as president. And why have we done so? Because in December, almost all the clubs will have your AGM. You're going to have your board of directors. You have to start planning for your year. So this training here in Sungai Petani is also part of the training process whereby we will show you how to work with your board of directors and start planning your projects. You must plan. If you don't plan, you're planning to fail. So my friends, use this opportunity. Attend all the sessions if possible. We'll be finishing by 3:30 tomorrow. So I sincerely hope that all of you attend all the sessions, learn as much as you can. And by the time you come back for the prefects 2 in Kuantan, it will be somewhere in February, most of you would have actually had an idea on what you're going to do, what projects you're going to do, because you would have already had a board of directors. So these are some of the main objectives and why we are having this prefects early. This is November, that means you have got 7 to 8 months to prepare for your year. Well, I think that about sums up what my training team what we have envisioned for you. And I think it's only proper if I introduce my training team. Training team comprises of senior Rotarians as well as young Rotarians. Some of them are here today. I would like to introduce them one by one. Let me first introduce our District Governor, Dr. Arasu. Arasu is an international assembly trainer. He has got vast experience and he has been very gracious in assisting me with my training program. In fact, he was not very well. He had some bad reaction after the third dose, booster dose. He was quite ill. But I admire the man because he didn't use it as an excuse and he's here today to assist us. Please give a round of applause, please. Another very popular past district governor from our district who has been a great assistance to me too, past district governor Leslie Salahuddin. Leslie is concurrently also conducting training for people like me at the institute. In fact, yesterday I attended a training which was conducted by Leslie, and he's so busy, but he makes time. I think these are things that we have to learn from all these distinguished Rotarians. They make their time for Rotary, and we should be very grateful to these great people. Followed by, I have another few more members in my training team. Raj, would you be upstanding? District membership chair. He has been of the greatest assistance to me. I'm not very good at IT and all this stuff, but Raj makes sure that I look good. He prepares me well, and all of you will think that I'm really good, but it's partly because of Raj. Thanks, Raj. Then we have our latest governor in the district governor nominee designate Arvind. Thank you, Arvind. Arvind will be the youngest governor in our district. This for the benefit of all of you guys. He became a president not long ago, probably 6 years ago. And there's something about what I would like to tell about presidents is that if you have that ambition, if you have the willpower, there's nothing that stops you from learning. The more you learn, the more comfortable you are, the more knowledgeable you are. You're able to lead the club very well. And, that's a stepping stone to moving forward to be an assistant governor. And from assistant governor, you become a governor. So he should be an inspiration to all of you. So aspire as a president to do very well in your year. And moving on, make sure that you have that vision, you have the ambition for your club, for your district. And that is what we want to see in our district 3300. We want to see all of you moving up the ladder and enjoying yourself as a Rotarian. And Dinesh Kumar. Dinesh has been my tech team man from Rotary Club of Subang. And he has worked tirelessly. In fact, during the AGTS we had in September, this man was working alone in a room. I think he was locked up for 1.5 days. And he worked tirelessly for the team. And I want to acknowledge your contribution, Dinesh. And you have been of the greatest help to me. Thank you, Dinesh. And Shankar is not here. Shankar Kailnathan, who will be conducting your prefect session tomorrow. Anyone else I left out from the training team? I think that's it, right?
Ashwin.
Ashwin, yes. Ashwin is supposed to be here today. Again, because of circumstances, he could not be here, but he will be talking to you tomorrow he has chosen a topic, motivate all of you. And he was supposed to have conducted we are supposed to have a session tomorrow. In his place, Raj will be conducting the session. And I think all of you who have attended the Zoom sessions, the President-elects as well as the assistant governors, you had this quiz sessions, Kahoot sessions. Now, the whole Kahoot session has been covered by Ashwin. He has worked tirelessly to make sure that the questions are ready and well prepared. So the bell has gone. It's time for me to step down. And I wish all of you, all my president-elects and incoming assistant governors, a very good pre-patch one. Thank you.
Thank you, Past District Governor Dr. Baskaran. He said just now, I just realized he's got a very balanced training team. 3 older members, P.D. Leslie, P.D. Arasu, Raj,
Right.
and 3 younger members, myself, Ashwin, and Dinesh.
Hey.
Okay, let's move on. Sorry for that. Okay, now I would like to invite our convener, District Governor-elect, Dr. Krishna Kumar, to deliver his address. It would have been great if he was with us here in person, but due to circumstances, he will join us virtually. Over to you, DGE.
Arvind, are you all playing the video? Yes. Yes. Are you playing the video?
Yes, DGE, we are playing it now. I had to do that.
Thank you, tech team, for sharing this video. I hope you all in the room can hear me. Am I loud and clear to all of you? Am I loud and clear? District Governor Dato Bindi Rajasegaran, present, past, and future Rotary leaders, and most important of all, the President-elects present today, and my Rotary friends. The video you saw just now was prepared for me by the incoming Public Image Chair, Rotarian Raja Yasmin. And I'm not sure if she's here today online. I'd like to thank her if she's present. Now, a very good afternoon to all of you and a warm welcome to the Rotary Year 22-23 Presidents-Elects Training Seminar. Please accept my sincere apologies for my District First Lady, incoming District First Lady, PAG Pushpa, and me not being able to attend the pre-PETS one in person with all of you. We were really looking forward to be there, to meet, to get to know all of you, to interact with all of you. But unfortunately, COVID took its toll. Don't worry, my friends. I'm now getting better. For the benefit of the medical personnel who are here, my oxygen saturation level this morning was 97%. And my fever has come down and I'm generally improving, except for a little bit of a cough. And Pushpa is also hopefully getting better. She's negative. Although we can't be there with you personally, I can see the amount of excitement and the zeal that you all are having. And I could see from the photos yesterday, what a grand time you all had yesterday, thanks to the generosity of DGE Arvind. Thank you, Arvind, for hosting the dinner yesterday. And I hope you kept a little bit of food and maybe had a drink on my behalf. Nevertheless, although we cannot be there, I welcome all of you, my friends, to Sungai Petani. It is good to see so many of you attending here physically this event in person. Due to the COVID-19 pandemic and the resulting MCO, we had to have our assistant governors training seminar virtually in September. Luckily, the restrictions have been removed and we are able to have it physically now, though there were some people like me who are unable to come and some had to cancel even at the last minute as late as yesterday. Here, I would like to express my profound gratitude and thanks to organizing chair, past President Choo Kai Hong, President Gopal Das, all the members of the Rotary Club of Bandar Sungai Petani for the extraordinary work you have done in organizing this pre-PETS one, despite all the challenges you faced and the last minute withdrawals from some members who were forced to withdraw. They are a very dedicated team and have gone to great pains to ensure the event runs smoothly and to ensure your health and safety are guaranteed. Thank you, my friends. This event is also being held virtually for those of us like me who are unable to attend, and the organizing and the technical team has done a great job in arranging this. Thank you, tech team, and especially to past President Dinesh and PAG Bernard for doing an exceptionally great job. Thank you, my friends. Now, the training team, led by past District Governor Dr. Baskaran, have planned a very comprehensive program for this pre-PETS 1. And further topics will be covered during the pre-PETS 2, which will be held in February, 19 to 20th February in Kuantan, and the PETS and the DTA in March 22 in the Klang Valley. As DGND Arvind rightly pointed out, the training team is a mixture of younger people and older people. And that was specially planned. Right from the beginning, I wanted to have some senior Rotarians who could guide us on the way we have to do our training, and some younger Rotarians with a younger perspective who could help us to design the trainings so that the younger Rotarians of today will really enjoy the trainings. That is why we have about 3 senior Rotarians and about 4 younger members in the training team. Thank you, PDG Baskaran and the training team members, PDG Arasu, PDG Leslie, DGND Arvind, PAG Raj Milambram, PAG Shankar, PP Ashwin, and PP Dinesh Kumar. You have done a marvelous job. And I must also thank DGS Sandra and all the members of the training team for extending their unwavering support, and all the members of the Secretariat for extending their unwavering support to the training team. For the information of DG Bindi, first I would like to really congratulate and thank from the bottom of my heart DG Bindi for being present here today. Bear with me just a second. I would like to read a small message that I got from Bindi yesterday. DG Bindi. DG Bindi told me yesterday, message me, hope you are doing well and recovering, Krish. Going to miss you tomorrow. I made sure I was there physically, just for you. Take care. That is the level of concern DG Bindi has, and she has made it a point to come here today, just for my sake and for all of your sake. Thank you, DG Bindi. Even as I read that, I'm getting overwhelmed. Thank you very much. I would like to inform DG Bindi that at this pre-patch 1 session, we have invited and they have accepted our invitation to be here from the president, charter president, Rajita of the new Rotary E Club of 1 Kuala Lumpur is here today. The club was just started about a week ago, and the club that was started just a few days ago, Rotary Club of Sraman Gateway, President Satish Kumar and P.E. Kugan are both here today virtually. Although they were just started, they are just new Rotarians, they are eager to learn, and we are very happy to have them here and give them all the training that we can. That is the spirit, guys. We want you to learn, and we are willing to teach you if you are willing to learn. And now, my president-elects, on you will depend the success of our district. Rotary is a service organization, but the service we do is not done by Rotary International, neither is it done by the district, nor by the district governor. The service we do to the public is done by the clubs. And you, the club presidents, are those who lead your clubs. It is you who will steer the ship that will serve help your members to serve, to change lives. You will be the leaders who will help your clubs to do as many projects as you can to improve the lives of the people in our community. My friends, Rotary International now has a very strong commitment to diversity, equity, and inclusion. I want you all to look at your membership strength. Go back and review your composition of your members and see if your club membership reflects the commitment given by Rotary for diversity, equity, and inclusion, or DEI. What is diversity? Diversity means all backgrounds. Rotary celebrates the contributions of people of all backgrounds across age, ethnicity, race, color, disability, learning style, religion, faith, socio-economic status, culture, marital status, languages spoken, sex, sexual orientation, and gender identity, as well as differences in ideas, thoughts, values, and beliefs. What is equity? Equity means equal opportunity, recognizing that individuals from certain groups have historically experienced barriers to membership, participation, and leadership. We commit to advancing equity in all aspects of Rotary. And what about inclusion? Inclusion means being made to feel welcome, valued, and respected. We believe that all people hold visible and invisible qualities that inherently make them unique. And we strive to create an inclusive culture where each person knows they are valued and belong. So look at your club membership strength, go back, see whether your club includes people of all backgrounds, whether you give everybody an equal opportunity, and whether not only you have them as your members, but you welcome them and make them feel belonged in your club. PS, you're the leaders of your club. The Rotary Foundation is the service arm of Rotary, and we encourage all Rotarians to contribute to Rotary. You, As club president, should set the example, and you should contribute before your club members can contribute. But that begs the question, how much should you give? Nobody is forced to give any money, but we encourage you to give as much as you can. Remember, it is not the money that's important. It's the impact your donation makes in the lives of others. And it is in the spirit and willingness that you're able to donate, that you make the donation. The 11th century Jewish scholar, Moses bin Maimon, or Maimonides, defined 8 levels of donating to charity. The lowest level, level 8, is when you donate and give grudgingly. The next level, the 7th level, is when you give less than you should, but you still give it cheerfully. Then comes the 6th level, when you give to the poor when you're asked to give. There's a 5th level, which says when you give to the poor without being asked to give. And then there's a 4th level. In the 4th level, the donor doesn't know who the recipient is, but the recipient knows who the donor is. For example, if I give money to charity, I don't know who's getting it, but the recipient will know that Krishna gave the money. The 3rd level, the recipient doesn't know who is giving the money, but the donor knows. And then there is the 2nd level. The 2nd level is when both the donor and the recipient don't know each other. The donor doesn't know who's getting the money, and the recipient also doesn't know who has given the money. This is the case as when we give money to the Rotary Foundation. We do not know who the money is going to benefit, and they do not know who gave us the money. And lastly, there's the highest level. This level is when you give for charity, when you help people before there is a need, so that they do not go into poverty and are not dependent on others. A very good example of this is when Rotary Club members or Rotary International or Rotary Foundation, through the Rotary Foundation, we do projects, for example, to do skills training. We train single mothers. At this moment of time, they may not be in poverty, but we train them, we give them a skill set so that they can later support themselves and they do not need to get help from anybody. We have them before the need arises, we anticipate the need. So that's how we want you to give in a correct spirit and to give as much as you can. Here, I have a slight reward which I'd like to give to you. I first urge all of you, if you're club presidents and AGs, if you're not yet a Paul Harris Fellow, try to become a Paul Harris Fellow. You have to lead by example if you can. Now, a reward, if you give $1,000 US dollars to the Rotary Foundation before the end of this month, when I go to the International Assembly in January, I will bring back 2 ties, 2 theme ties, or ties and scarves to give to you as a gift. So if you give it before the end of November, you'll get in $1,000 US dollars to the Rotary Foundation, annual fund of Rotary Foundation. I will give you either 2 ties or 2 scarves, or 1 tie and 1 scarf. All you need to do is give me your donor ID, your contribution amount, your contribution date, and whether you want ties or scarves. Now, to promote Rotary, we have to constantly promote Rotary with one voice, one brand, and one logo. The public image team will be helping you in this regard. But I would like to emphasize that we would want to achieve a goal of all clubs in the districts having 100% compliance to the logos, as in the brand compliant logos, as per the voice and visual identity guidelines in the My Rotary. And for your public image campaigns and social media campaigns, to have all your postings use people of action images as per the guidelines in My Rotary. My friends, my PEs, your AGs are there to support, inspire, motivate, guide, advise, and be your friends. They will be your friend, your confidant, and your mentor. They will be your first point of contact when you need any form of assistance or advice. Remember, presidents, you are not alone. The training team and district secretariat will guide you and provide you any assistance and advice you need. And most of all, my friends, I am here for you. Together, we will support you, we will support your clubs, and we will support your club members and all the Rotarians in the district. As a team, we will serve to change lives. And mark my words, Rotary is fun, and Rotary must always be fun. Enjoy yourselves, my friends. Now I call upon my good friend, our esteemed District Governor Dato Bindi Rajasegaran, to give an address and to declare open the Rotary Year 22-23 President-Elect's Training Seminar 1. Over to you, DG, and thank you for being here. Thank you, my friends. Over to you, DG.
District Trainer, past Governor Dr. Baskaran, past Governor Dr. Arasu, past Governor Leslie, District Officers, current, past and future, very good afternoon to all of you. DG Dr. Krish, I wish you a speedy recovery. So presidents, or rather incoming presidents, here we are at your Prepeds 1. This is the first of your formal trainings. Then you will have Prepeds 2 and later the DTA. And more training continuously. Training never ends till you take office and beyond. This brings back memories of my journey with my presidents. Knowing Krish, he would have preferred a military-style training for all of you. He is so meticulous. He would like everything perfect, and that's your incoming governor for you. I also see in this room many repeated presidents. I do not like to use the word recycle. What do you do to a plastic bottle when you recycle? We don't want to do that to the presidents, okay? So I prefer to use repeated presidents. So all of you are here because you have done so well previously, your club has asked you to do it again. But you know what? All of you are the lucky ones, yeah? For the next Rotary year. Has it actually dawned on all of you that you have been elected to this prestigious and elated position? Don't ever forget that at last year's AGM, you were elected as the EE. This coming AGM, you will be elected as the president. I'm not saying that from now till the AGM, there is a window for you to run through the back door. Yeah. All I'm saying is, I want to impress upon all of you that it's a huge honor to be a president of a club. It's a once in a lifetime experience, and for the repeated presidents, it's a twice or a 3 times lifetime experience. This is an opportunity given to leaders. You have been identified by your club members. They have full faith and confidence in your leadership. And they want you to lead them for 1 year. You are the captain. All your members are going to look up to you. You take charge on 1st July, that means you just have over 6 months to prepare. That is not long, you do not have much time. You need to utilize the 6 months to the maximum to prepare for your year. And I would like to stress upon a few points. Number 1 is equality. Every member of your club is equally important. You must show consideration and respect for each and every member. They are your strength. They are your foundation. Without them, you will not have a ship to navigate. So remember, your members are the priority. Number two, sharing the decision-making process. Success in running a club requires collaboration, not command. Set clear goals, clear communication, and ensure teamwork. Improve on your soft skills. And number three is the art of listening. Before you assume that you are fit to be a president, ask yourself, am I a good listener? Because if you are going to lead, you need to be a good listener. A recent Harvard review supports evidence that leaders who listen well are perceived as people's leader who generate more trust, instill higher satisfaction, and increase your team's enthusiasm. And last but not least, creating a friendly culture. Fellowship is the basis of Rotary, and I think this pre-batch has been started on a very good footnote by last night's fellowship. I hear so much about it. So fellowship is the basis of Rotary. Now I want to talk a bit about the structure of district. Your governor was elected 3 years ago. He served as DGND, then DGN, and now DGE, and soon DG in about 7 months. So governor's term in office is actually 3.5 years. And that's not easy for any governor. Ask our past governors and you will know. And I would like to describe our district with an example, and I use this example as my ladder of inference. Once a DGND is elected, like what Arvind has been recently, he has not sat down quietly. Similarly, Dr. Krishna, when he was elected DGND, the first thing he did was to select his secretariat team and his training team. And my ladder of inference is a huge tree, a huge healthy tree. The secretariat and the training team are the roots. The unseen team, you do not see the roots. They have been there with the governor right from the start. They have been working endlessly. I know how it is. Then comes the trunk. The trunk represents all the ladies and gentlemen in the second row, the assistant governors. They are the first visible lot. They are the connections between the district and the clubs. They hold everything together. You cannot underestimate the position of an assistant governor. It is so, so important. Then you have the branches, which represents all the clubs, and the leaves and the flowers represents the members. So it all depends on how the roots are nourishing the trunk, and the trunk provides support to the branches, and how the branches then produce beautiful leaves and flowers. So that is our district. And don't forget those unseen Rotarians who have been working so hard right from 3.5 years ago. You are taking office in 7 months. You have just started your training. Yes, you had a few months of online training, I believe. But there are many more who have started much, much earlier before you. Now, why do we train all our teams so much and so early? Our district chairmen, our district committees, our assistant governors, they are all there for you. Rotary clubs are the nucleus. We are all around you to support and help you.
Oh, minum na ako.
Is that my cue to stop? Okay, I think I've said enough. Incoming presidents, your tenure as president will be one of the best years of your life. You are in a position to make a difference and do make the most of it. Now, I would like to end by quoting this beautiful phrase: rivers do not drink their own water, trees do not eat their own fruit. The sun does not shine on itself, and flowers do not spread their fragrance for themselves. Living for others is a rule of nature. We are all born to help each other. No matter how difficult it is, life is good when you are happy, but much better when others are happy because of you. With that, it's my honor now to declare this Pre-PAX 1 officially open.
Thank you, DG.
Thank you, Governor Dato Bindi. Now with our pre-PAX open, we shall now listen to a message by Rotary International President-elect Jennifer Jones.
Volume.
Someone please arrange to keep the lights. Dr. Bennett, thank you. Always ever ready.
There's no volume, we can't hear.
Today, the last 18 months have brought challenges, highs and lows, moments of hope, and unexpected setbacks. But through it all, Rotarians, the family of Rotary, Rotaractors, we've been there for each other. We've strengthened our bonds of friendship and service and relied on Rotary values to get us through the darkest days. We still have great hope that once
Can't hear.
We can't hear her again.
we have so much ability to change lives in our own communities and around the world. And sometimes the greatest change begins with ourselves. The world needs us now more than ever.
And Rotarians need each other to stay connected and to continue to act against the ongoing pandemic, but to also finish the job on polio and to change lives through all of our areas of focus. We've been entrusted with leadership in our great organization, and now it's up to us to be brave and intentional in our actions. I want to share a story with you about when I served as a club president. I must say that I loved being a Rotary Club president so much that I really hated sitting down at the end of the year. That year was 2001, and I was one of President Rick King's Regal Eagles. It was also the year that will be forever remembered for the date 9/11. Who will ever forget what happened on that fateful Tuesday? My home club meets on Tuesdays around 10 a.m. and I started receiving calls and emails asking if our meeting would be canceled. Somehow I knew at that moment that we needed to be together, to be in shared experience. Facing the American flag and sang the Star-Spangled Banner, their anthem, and wept alongside our friends on the other side of our border. Our speaker that day was a young Rotary scholar who was heading to Poland. We quickly changed the format, and he and I simply sat in front of the club and had a discussion. And he had the most profound observations about peace. The love and support for each other and for our American friends was profound. And it's times like these that you truly feel the impact of the family of Rotary. Over the past several months, these are the same kind of moments that have played out across the globe over and over again. Our ability to look out for each other, to weep together, to pray together, and to protect each other, both physically and mentally. I'm sure that many of you have heard this quote from Maya Angelou. She said, "I've learned that people will forget what you said. People will forget what you did, but they will never forget how you made them feel." That's the family of Rotary. I guess what I'm saying is be that person. Be the kind of leader who is brave enough to say and do nice things for your members and their families, and they will never forget how you made them feel. And the even greater reward, you will never forget how it made you feel. I want to spend the rest of my time with you talking about something near and dear to my heart, the creation of Rotary moments and Rotary's public image. It used to be that we were encouraged to do our good work quietly and not for recognition. And it's been about the past decade where telling our story has become one of our key strategic initiatives. What we've learned is that when we tell our stories, like-minded people actually want to join with us. I believe it's one of our greatest membership tools. Who in this room doesn't have an amazing Rotary story? Each and every one of you have experienced the joy of a Rotary moment. It's taking it that next step and understanding when you share them that you can help to change people's lives. When the simple and the ordinary collide with intention, it becomes extraordinary. Rotary provides each of us with a platform, and a powerful one, to help shape how people see our organization. So what are the stories that you have to tell, and how can you share them? The best way that I can express it is to paint a story with your words. It's about putting forward the human face and making that emotional connection. Our lives are rich with content, and your own personal stories are a powerful way to connect with Rotarians. It's about stepping back and looking at situations in your life and appreciating the lessons that they provide for you and for others. And then it's about sharing them. Imagine if we could engage our 1.2 million members as the greatest storytellers of our organization's accomplishments. Everything that we do as Rotarians affects our image and our brand. So quite simply, our ability to tell our story in a compelling way affects how our organization is perceived. A decade ago, I completed one of the biggest challenges of my life. My husband Nick and I climbed nearly 20,000 feet to reach the top of Mount Kilimanjaro in Tanzania, Africa. It was part personal challenge and part a Rotary fundraiser. It took 5 days to reach the summit, the first in lush forest, the second in thick scrub, the third in low scrub, and the fourth day was like landing on the moon, craters, and no sign of life. Now let me explain to you that climbing Kilimanjaro is not a technical climb like Everest. The battle with Kili is altitude. And for me, it was a journey to the depths of positive thinking. By the time we arrived at base camp above 15,000 feet, 2 of our team members were exhibiting mild signs and medium signs of altitude sickness. It begged the question, should we really be doing this? The summit is attempted at midnight, and it takes somewhere between 6 to 7 hours. It's done at this time because the temperature drops to -20 plus, and it freezes the ground so you can get better traction. For each group that attempts the climb, it's led by a team of guides, and this is a coveted job because of the precious tips that they receive. Now, this is where the story becomes very personal. As we set out that night with only a miner's light on our heads to lead the way, I was torn by whether to feel exhilarated by the opportunity or terrified by the fact that something could go wrong. It wouldn't be until we reached ground level that we would learn that a guide from another team had died and a 22-year-old man from England was in cardiac arrest. Our guides sang Christmas songs in Swahili, and the rhythm of their music helped to create a pace to our steps. Pole pole in Swahili means to go slow, and it was the mantra of our climb. You see, the best way to ward off altitude sickness is to stay very hydrated and to take time to adjust to each level by going very slowly. Pole pole. I must confess, I entered into this climb perhaps a little too lightly and without the full appreciation of the dangers. I suppose that I knew them, but I was excited by the adventure and most eager to reach the top of the African continent. It seemed like we had been climbing forever when our guide shared that we were only a quarter of the way to the top. It was also at this point that our water, even insulated, was frozen. It took everything in my being to stay focused and to put one foot in front of the other. Inside, I was questioning why I was on the side of this mountain, and I had to dig really deep to stay positive. I was ready to throw in the towel countless times, but to what end? There really wasn't an easy way out. The last hour was the most difficult, and it required a lot of rock climbing. And it was just as the sun was peaking above the horizon that we reached the top. The sky transitioned from a thick carpet of stars to an orange tapestry of color. Now, I tell you this story because it's about climbing to great heights. And isn't Rotary a story that we should be shouting from the top of a mountain? I also see this climb as a metaphor for life and about how we frame the things that are important to us. What are the stories in your own club and districts that help bring Rotary to life? As a global network of professional business and community volunteers, Rotary is a brand that unites the world. We simply have to climb the mountain and shout a little louder. And each one of you are great ambassadors of our message. And it begins daily, simply by wearing your Rotary pin. We see now, more than ever, that clubs that have good public relations are clubs that are growing. And public relations is actually one of our most progressive tools for membership, both recruitment and retention. When we tell our stories, like-minded people want to join with us. It makes it much easier to ask someone to be part of Rotary when they're already aware of what we do. Likewise, there's a sense of pride that's created within our ranks when we see our stories being shared. Members feel good about what they're doing, and in turn, they're buoyed and want to continue doing more. It's a great way to keep our members engaged. If you've gleaned anything in the past few minutes, I hope it's that good public relations is about telling our story. You may, however, be asking, how do I make this happen when I'm not an expert? Well, the first thing that you must realize is it's not your job alone. Good public relations is every member's obligation. We're all ambassadors of Rotary. So how do we showcase what is valuable to us? Not long ago, I was in Chicago visiting my brother. We went shopping one afternoon, and the only thing I wanted to purchase was a gratitude journal. This was a trend several years ago where you would write 3 things a day that you were grateful for, and the premise being that it would help to manifest the power of positive thinking. I thought this was a good thing. We were in a lovely little boutique when I found my book. Very quietly, I said to my husband, "This is my gratitude journal." So I looked around a little bit more and went up to the counter to pay. And I watched as the clerk went down to one end of the counter and took out this beautiful tissue paper and carefully wrapped the book. He then went to the other end of the counter where he found a blue box with gold lines all over the top. He finished it off with an elaborate ribbon and then came forward to give it to me. He said, "I couldn't help but overhear what you said, that this is going to be your gratitude journal. I want to be the first entry in your book. I want you to write that the man that sold me this book made it an even more beautiful experience. He is indeed the first entry. So how do we showcase what's important to us? What's the packaging, the special ribbons that we wrap around Rotary to make it even more beautiful? We do it through public relations. We do it by telling our stories. Rotary, a brand that brings the world together. And so I carry his message of gratitude here today to say thank you. Thank you for all that you have done and all that you are going to do. You have already been touched deeply by this organization, or you wouldn't be sitting here today. When you tell your stories, you're inspiring your clubs, recharging their batteries, and preparing them for the year ahead. Thank you for your leadership, and thank you for being such a vital part of Rotary International. I wish you well on the very best of the rest of your event.
Training session now. So Rotary, guiding principles of Rotary.
Can't hear you, DG and Arvind.
So I guess okay. So that should the down one. So, can you- I'm going to share this. Yeah. Good afternoon. Mr. Governor was with us. Convenor Dr. Krishna, District Trainer Baskaran, Past Governor Leslie, my dear Rotary friends. It gave me a great pleasure to be here in Sungai Petani because 20 years ago when I was a governor, this was the first club that I started my club visit. So at that time, there was President James, and I told him that I needed to go to the famous Murugan temple in Sungai Petani, and I started the morning puja, and from that I started my 86 club visits. So it always gives me great memories to come back to Sungai Petani, and I thank the training team for giving me this opportunity to share a lot of our Rotary basics and some of the guiding principles that has kept this organization going for the last 115 years. So my friends, this topic today on the Rotary basics, the learning objectives of which is the Rotary basics. I can't move that. That's yeah, this one. Okay, right. Thank you. The learning objectives this afternoon is on two topics. One is on the Rotary basics, and the other one is the guiding principles of our organization. It is commonly said that 116 years is such a long time, and it's difficult to understand this organization of ours, which is the oldest service organization in the Rotary world. Remember, Rotary membership in a club is on an invitation based on the founder's paradigm of choosing one representative of each business or profession and the institution in that particular community. It is also said that a Rotary meeting is held every 36 minutes somewhere in the Rotary world. This is way back in 1971. So today is practically every other minute that there is a meeting in some part of the Rotary world. The first name that this club that came out was, sorry, let me go back to this. Yeah. Rotary's first name that first came out was the Chicago Service Club. Now, Rotary is a community-based organization. Remember, we are not associated with any meal. There's no such thing as a luncheon Rotary Club meeting or a dinner Rotary Club meeting. We are not associated with a meal. I see that there are a lot of mistakes in a lot of our clubs where we are promoting our organization as a meal-based organization, which it is not. It is a community-based organization. And there are only two places where Rotary doesn't exist. One is in the space when you're traveling, and the second one when you're on water, when you're on the ship. Other than that, this organization is in practically most number of countries in the world. Even in those countries that we are not represented, the work of our organization is carried out by other service organizations on our behalf. You know, we fund a lot of these projects through the foundation using other service organizations because a lot of countries, even till now, object for the Rotary organization to open up its branches. So the work of Rotary still carries on. As I said, we are the oldest service organization in the world. The Rotary International is 1905. Kiwanis International came after us in 1915. Alliance International was in 1970. And Optimus International in 1919. And Zonda International again in 1919, which is again modeled under the Rotary International. Now, your friends, there's a lot of history in our organization. A tablet bears in Spanish in the inscription that reads, "Sooner shall these mountains crumble into dust than the Argentinians and the Chileans would have broken the peace sworn on the feet of Christ the Redeemer." See, there were these two countries all the time at war, till the Rotarians got together and decided that they need to stop the war between these two countries. So they erected the statue of Jesus in between the boundaries of these two countries, and till today, there is no war or there's no misfortunes or happenings within these two particular countries. The great contributions by the Rotarians of that part of the world. Now, the charity navigation, as you know, most of you know, for the 13th year, we are still rated as one of the best service organizations or the Rotary Foundation, utilization of funds, the annual givings, and how we account for those.
We can't hear PDG Arasu.
He is actually muted.
Yeah, the live camera is muted.
Club of Kuala Lumpur on the 20th of July, 1929. And that is when the Rotary Club of Kuala Lumpur had its provisional status. Right, if you look into that draft, the drawing or the chart in front of you, the 4th of December 1929 was the Rotary Club of Strambal. It was chartered. The reason being is, though the club was in, the Rotary Club of Kuala Lumpur was a provisional status, the charter was a few days delayed. But technically speaking, they were the first Rotary clubs in Malaysia. Then it went on to Kuala Lumpur, then Ipoh, then Klang, Malacca, Penang, Bangkok, Kuching, and further on. Now, in 1922, Rotary founded the International Society for Crippled Children. See, right from those days, we have been all the time, from our founding days, been associated with the children of the world. That's why when polio came up as a corporate program, the headquarters took it up, and we were very successful in that particular program. The International Society for Crippled Children became the beneficiary of the Rotary Foundation first grant, or the first money that the grant, or the first funds that went out was in 1929 towards the crippled children. So you see our involvement in the crippled children and the handicapped children and on to polio will be our corporate program till we complete the immunization program. Today, I'm so glad that we are down to only two cases. And I think very soon we would have immunized the children of the world. But the success of this program is only after 3 years when the World Health Organization will certify that polio is no more with us. So there's still a lot of work to be done. Please support the program. And we've gone, 1947 is when Paul Harris passed away. And the day when he passed away, there were a lot of funds coming into the organization. And so the board of directors at times got together and decided, what should we do with these funds that were coming in? And so they started to form the Rotary Foundation itself. And soon it reached the 1 million mark, and it launched the first program of the international scholarships for graduate students. Now in 1917, this famous man of Arch Clump, many of you know about him, a guy who gave us the Rotary Foundation. He was a Rotary International president. At the end of the convention, he was given US $26.50 as a gift. He said, I've been always promoting the endowment fund of the foundation. So let this be the seed money for the beginning of the Rotary Foundation. And that's how the foundation started, with the $26.50. And not only that, this great man has done a lot of work. He created an endowment fund for Rotary for the purpose of doing good to the world. So all the time, when you talk about the foundation, we always go by the motto that it's doing good in the world for charitable, educational, and other avenues of community service. Now, if you look at that logo in particular, it is divided into two parts. Today, we don't use this. The reason I put it up is because one section is the Rotary International Board. The other section are the trustees of the Rotary Foundation. They're two separate entities altogether, right? So don't get confused, because one is the Rotary Board, or the Board of Directors of Rotary International, and the other one are the trustees of the Rotary Foundation. The members of the Board of Rotary International serve for 2 years. The trustees of the Rotary Foundation serve for 4 years. So there was a demarcation mark within them showing that they work together. At the same time, they synchronize the projects and they report to the board. The board has a representative at the trustees itself. So that is the structure of it. Now, this is the current logo that we use, called the Rotary Foundation logo, so that we have now brought the trustees and the board together
and one particular logo. Now, going back to Arch Klump himself, now he was a man who mooted the TRF in 1917, and the same year was the birth of Lions International. And not only that, he was the chairman who drafted the constitution of Rotary International. Being a lawyer, he could see the importance of having the constitution and the structure for the Rotary clubs. Today, he has recommended, in fact, he recommended the formation of Rotary districts and the Rotary governors. So you see, this one particular past president Rotary International who was very far-thinking. You know, he found the need for this organization to grow. And so he gave us the foundation. At the same time, he gave us the structure of our organization. Now, we used to run the world's largest privately run foundations of the world, and that is the Educational Scholarship Program itself. Today, we are not onto this program because many countries are not participating, because it all depends how much money we have in our DDF and the amount of money that we can now separately give it for these scholars. Another bright day for our Rotary movement is in 1946, 49 Rotarians in 29 national delegations were among the drafters of the United Nations Charter in 1945, and this helped influence the focus on economic, social, and humanitarian issues. 5 of Rotarians have served as presidents of the United Nations General Assembly. So my friends, if you look at it, you know, we are proud members, you know, of this great organization because we were the guys who wrote the Charter of the United Nations. We have a representative from the World Headquarters sitting in some of the committees of the United Nations. In fact, at the United Nations, our end polio banner, our programs are very well promoted as well. Not only that, UNESCO is also another organization, the United Nations Educational, Scientific and Cultural Organization. And this was out of a Rotary conference where they felt that there was a need to address issues of this nature. And so UNESCO was formed from a Rotary International Convention. And not only that, there's another program of that. And then UNICEF itself. UNICEF was also born out of a Rotary International Convention. That is why many of our work that we do in many parts of the world, we are all the time together with UNICEF, WHO, USAIDs, and all kinds of organizations that are willing to work with us. So my friends, you don't only belong to your club, you belong to an international organization that is linked to many countries of the world, reaching out to many countries where Rotary does not exist, but the great humanitarian work that we Rotarians are doing. So don't you think you should be a very proud Rotarian? Do you think so? Yes. So it is the ownership of this organization that is very important. If you look at building membership in our clubs, it is the ownership to the club. Unless you have an ownership to the club, how are you going to invite somebody back into the club? Until you have ownership to our organization, how else can you promote this great organization? So my friends, let's move on. Some of the Rotary firsts in our historical records is, of course, we established an endowment fund. In 1922, Rotary adopted the name Rotary International when the name was changed from the International Association of Rotary Clubs. There are 141 Rotary clubs with the same name, Tokyo. That means the Rotary Club of Tokyo. So it's good to know that there are 141 other Rotary clubs around the world. There are only one country in the world where they're exempt from the usage of the word club. Can anybody guess? I shared that with Western governors. Now, the clubs in South America, right? Brazil, Argentina, and all that, they don't use the word club. They say Rotary Venezuela, Rotary Brasilia, Rotary Rio de Janeiro, because in those countries, the word club means something else. And I'm sure most of you know what it means. So for that sake, the RI board gave them that exemption. Now, the first Rotary Club banner to orbit the moon was carried by astronaut Frank Borman from Russia, from Houston Space Center. He was a Rotarian. So not only on Earth, our presence was felt, we were also felt in the outer space as well. The Rotary first community service project that took place, remember, was the Comfort Station in the City Hall in Chicago in 1907. Now, if you go to Chicago, it is on the Great Lakes. Now, a lot of people use the lakes for transport and they come to Chicago for shopping. They come here to buy things and all that. And a lot of them couldn't, there was no comfort station. Basically, a comfort station is a toilet. There was no public toilet in Chicago at that period of time. So a lot of them had to get back to the ships and they had to go back to their villages and to their counties so that they can, ease themselves. So the Rotarians got together and decided that we need to build a comfort station in Chicago. Sad to say, when I was there at the headquarters, I couldn't see that particular project that was launched. When I asked my RI staff, where is the project? She told me, sir, it was there, it's no more there because the highway is going right through it. So a lot of history in our organization was gone. Now the first, now the next one is, the first appeal for the disaster victims actually came was in 1913. $25,000 is a lot of money in 1913. So that's the time that we used it for flood relief in Ohio and in Indiana. The first convention in Chicago in 1910, Rotary motto of "He who profits most, who serves best" was introduced at the convention. That was our first official motto and was later approved by the second convention in Portland in 1911. Now, as we move on, the Rotary 711 is a room in the headquarters. It is still there. It is a room that they have kept down where they kept the actual birthplace of the organization. But today they have kept it as an office, and in that office you get all the parts of all the initial meetings of what Paul Harris had, the souvenirs that he received around the world. Everything is partly kept there. A lot of this is kept in warehouses. So if you need to see some documents that was given to Paul or what he received on his world travels, you can source for it. You can ask for it. They will carry it down to the thing, so you could possibly have a look at it in a day or two. That was a historic room, which was the office of the engineer Lois Doha, was the location of the first meeting when Paul met, a club for professionals and businessmen. Okay, the meaning of the emblem, a lot of us have to understand this. There's no official meaning attached to the rotary wheel. It is because the wheel is used for transport, grinding, spinning, windmill, electric, and motor for electricity that they found that it was a useful symbol to follow. And today we are using the wheel in our emblem itself. Next is the Rotary magazine. The reason I put this up is because it is mandatory. If you look at your manual of procedure, it is there that unless exempted from the Rotary International Board, every Rotarian has to subscribe for the Rotarian magazine. Today, we have the option of the digital version, or you can opt for any of the 7 regional magazines in which the Rotary magazine is translated. Now, in the regional magazines, based on the local languages, the first few pages has to follow the Rotarian magazine. Then after that, it takes up the local news as well. So you can also opt for either one. Remember, the subscription to a Rotarian magazine is 1 year. It's not only 6 months. It is 6 months on subscription and the duration of the membership, and 6 months period during which the membership may terminate. So in other words, we are supposed to collect the subscription for the Rotarian magazine for a period of 1 year. We go on to the next important part of it is what we call the club banners. Now, a lot of people don't understand why we have club banners. The reason why we have club banners is it represents the activity in which the club is present. So supposing you're in a particular town where you have the engines or you have an MRT station, so those things are projected on the club banner itself. Now, if you look at the club banner itself, it has got a lot of things that identifies. So when the basis of the banner is when you exchange or when a member is inducted into the club, it's good practice to give them the club banner. The reason is when you give them the club banner, you have to explain what the banner is. A lot of them don't understand what is printed on that banner. So you've got to tell them the banner is this represents the community, this is our rail station, this is our golf course, this is where we meet, and things like that. So it is handed over to that particular Rotarian. Now, when a member visits your club and says, we like to exchange a banner, now what you have to understand is the reason why we have this is to promote the internationality of our organization. So what happens is, as they receive the banner, That Rotarian will tell you, I come from the Rotary Club of Chicago. In Chicago, we have the Great Lakes, we have this, the world headquarters, we have all this printed on our banner. I bring greetings from my club president, and then he exchanges the banner. Now, the current president now gives him the banner and explains that this is the Rotary Club of, say, Kajang, and these are the things that we have. We have the satay, we have golf courses, we have all kinds of things, and this is on our banner, and then we shake hands and we exchange the banner. It does not stop there. The Rotarian that takes the banner back to his country in Chicago passes the banner around the members of the club. So every member signs at the back of the banner, and he takes it back to Chicago Rotary Club and says, I visited the Rotary Club of Kajang, and they said, they are from this town, there's a committee, I bring greetings from the president. These were the members that were present on the banner, and these are the activities that this club is part of, or they are looking for a sponsor to support their global grants. After which, this banner is then, he takes it, gives it to the club president, and then he displays the banner. So that's the usage or the function of the club banners. So you got to understand why we have banners. So the banners actually promotes the community, promotes the internationality of the organization, and at the same time, it is, promotes a goodwill or something for them to take it back to their home clubs. And bring back to the structure, remember, our organization is from headquarters right up to the board to the district, and the district to the clubs. Now, what is important to understand here is the Rotary International Board is made of 19 members. The president-elect are members. The president nominee is not a member of the RI board. You only have the president and the president-elect. Of course, there's a general secretary. The general secretary is a paid staff, and they meet 4 times a year. They review the reports from the directors. They review the reports from the COL and zone institutes. They review decisions made after the COL. So there are a lot of decisions that takes place at the COL. The board reviews it. Sometimes they accept it, sometimes they reject it. If they reject it, then again they circulate it back to the clubs, and then the clubs will decide on what is the best for the organization. Now, some of the Rotary offices worldwide is one Rotary Center is where our headquarters is in Evanston. We have the Zurich office in Switzerland, looking after the whole of Europe and Africa. We have the Southeast Asia office that's in New Delhi, India, Pakistan, and Bangladesh. And we have the Brazil office in Sao Paulo. We have the Japanese office in Tokyo. We have the Korean office in Seoul. And we have the South Pacific and the Philippines and New South Wales under the Parramatta. And we have the South America office in Buenos Aires, and the RIBI in Great Britain, that's in Alcesta in England. Now, bringing it back to your basic structure of the club. If you look at the basic structure of the club, it's simply this. They have simplified, you look at your president's manual. It's good that if you get back, go onto the Google search or go into Google, go into RI, look for club presidents or the president's manual, and then you'll find a lot of this new information. Now, one thing I would like to stress here is any new information that comes from the headquarters goes into the president's manual first. The manual of procedure is only a manual of procedure of the way we do things, which is normally updated every 3 years. So in that 3 years, there are a lot of changes. So that changes will take place. It is effective to the clubs. It's get updated in the club president's manual. Every year, currently the manual is valid for 3 years. So every year, look at the club president's manual and you'll find the latest updates there. And the decisions of the RI board, the decisions of the trustees, they will get into the Rotarian magazine, and there you'll see some of the decisions that are made. It then gets into the code of policies of Rotary International and begins the policies of the organization. So the manual of procedure is only a manual of procedure, the way we do things. It is not the Bible. If you want to really look at the Bible, look at the code of policies. You can Google search, downloadable. It runs in a few 100 pages, and you can look everything in specificity in that particular document. Now, one of the things I put the structure up is for you to look at the importance of the Strategic Planning Committee. Today, we are insisting, in fact, we are encouraging clubs to have the member of the Strategic Committee to be part of the board of directors of the club. You know, it is not there, but in some of your clubs you have, though it's optional, you are today encouraging or pushing forward the strategic plan of Rotary International itself. So it has got to start from the club itself. Now going on to this, remember a club is governed by the board of directors. They have service directors, of course, they elect treasurer, members of the board. The president chairs all club board meetings. The decision of the board is in the interest of the club is final. So normally a decision of the board that is final should not be overruled by the club membership. It doesn't look good because we have elected the board. So if you elect the board, you have to trust the board. You're not happy with it, then you have to discuss it over the club assemblies. That is why we have club assemblies for you presidents to discuss issues. Once you find that there are issues to be discussed, discuss it at the club assembly. And then the board meets and discusses the decisions or what takes place at the club assemblies. And from there, you decide whether you want to make a decision or not, which is good for the club. Because if your decision of your board is overruled by the club, technically speaking, the board has to resign. So it's a serious thing because they got no confidence on the board. So you've got to be very tactful when you handle situations. There are a lot of conflicts, a lot of issues that come up. Put it for discussion. Don't make the decision straight away. Let the club decide. Have a board meeting. Have a club assembly. Discuss it at the club. You can't come to an agreement. Call for another meeting. Go into the thing. So you have given enough time for members to discuss the issue. Then you take it up to your board. And then you decide what is best of best interest to the club. And then you say this was the decision. Because you all have discussed it. We have made a decision. Are you willing to accept it? So you have gone through the process. Don't overlook the process because you run into a problem. Okay, that's my advice. Now we move on to the next area. Remember, governor, the importance of the governor. He must attend the governor-elect's training at the Rotary Institutes, which is again mandatory. And at the same time, he has to attend the International Assembly either virtually or physically, which is again mandatory. Now, if the governor does not attend any of these sessions, in fact, if it's late for half an hour, he's given one warning. If it's late for the second hour, they will pack his bag and make him pay his passage back. They have done this many times. So that's how serious they take training at the headquarters or in Chicago, wherever it is. Next year is going to be held in Orlando. So that's how serious it is, because they find they will spend a lot of money on training and the governors have to commit themselves. So when he comes back, he sets up a district structure to better administer Rotary clubs. And the governor-elect is only confirmed on 1st of July at the convention before 1st of July. It does not mean that if you are elected, you are confirmed. No. And when the day you're a nominee, you go through the process. You have to attend training. You have to attend your different assignments. And then when you get on to the governor-elect, you have to go for those two important trainings. Only then they will decide that you are a good candidate and you don't have any issues. Your credibility rating is high, and they will confirm you, mind you, on June, the year before you take office on 1st July. Until such a stage, you can be knocked out. That's how serious the organization looks at leadership, building the leadership, because you're given the 3 years or the 2.5, 3 years for you to train yourself to take up that leadership positions. So that is the importance of the role of the governor. Remember, when you're in communication with the clubs, this is something to understand. And if everything gets back to the governor, or you'll have to go to the district secretary if you want, or the district secretary will get to the governor. You can also, of course, go to the district committees. You can get or use your assistant governors. So this is the linkage that you will have to use. Rotary International will only deal with the current governor of the year. There's only one RI officer in the year, and that is the district governor. 30th of June every year, the correspondence goes to the governor-elect or the incoming district governor. So Krish is now the governor-elect. When he goes to Orlando for his training, he comes back. He is called the incoming district governor. He's no more the governor-elect. The requirement is he must go for the international training. And then he comes back as the incoming district governor. So his terminology completely changes. So take note of that, okay? Now let's move on. Rotarians are members of Rotary clubs. Remember, each club elects its own officers, and your club enjoys autonomy. Remember, every club is autonomous by yourself, and you must work within the framework of Rotary's constitution and bylaws itself. The day that you don't work within the constitution and the bylaws, the governor can terminate your Rotary clubs. You know, that's the only thing. So the autonomy is given to every particular Rotary club. That's why we are very unique. Many other service organizations don't have that. They're controlled by the main bodies. You know, we give you all that flexibility. I brought this up again because club programs are very important. And one aspect of club programs that they do develop, 2 meetings in a year should include presentations on programs and fund development of the Rotary Foundation. Now, this is strongly encouraged for clubs to do it every year when you plan your year. So plan your agenda, make sure that at least these 2 parts are incorporated into your particular agenda. Now, coming to an interesting area of club singing. Those days, we used to have a lot of club singing in our Rotary clubs. You know, senior guys also bring out a songbook and all of us used to sing song and kind of creates a very nice environment. But over the period of time, this is all lost out. Now, it was Henry Rugels who was the 5th man to join the Paul Harris team to form the first Rotary Club in Chicago was in 1905. Now, he enjoyed singing. He brought a lot of songs to the club. So with that, he brought the singing sessions to club meetings, and soon it spread out throughout the world. And many Rotary clubs, even today, have singing as part of their club agenda before they actually get back into the running the official agenda of the club. So group singing soon became a traditional part of Rotary clubs. Now we go on to another area that is called the women groups associated with Rotary clubs. You know, a lot of them have asked me many times, you know, where do women play a role in our organization? Now, women group associated with Rotary clubs are recognized for their excellent service. Some have been termed as women groups, or women of Rotary, Rotary Ants clubs, Las Damas de Rotary, Rotary Wives, or today we call them the inner wheelers. We have actually recognized the inner wheelers as part of our service organization that is there to complement the work that the Rotarians are doing. So the inner wheelers are today termed as the spouses of Rotarians, or in fact, some of them are non-spouses as well, but they are ladies who would like to join in to do or to work towards humanitarian projects. Now, our guiding principles, my friends, is our Rotary motto. Like I said, he profits who serves best was there in 1950. And then in 1989, it was the Council of Legislation that designated service above self. Some latest information for you at the recent Council of Legislation that is still going on, where the members of the committee of the Council of Legislation worldwide got together, and they are now looking at reviewing a lot of this before they go on to the Council of Legislation meeting next year. And one of the interesting things was they wanted to make service above self the annual motto of this organization. You know, every year we keep changing our theme. They wanted to make it as the annual theme of the year. And sad to say, it was rejected. There was only 181 districts in the world that actually agreed to it. There were more than 286 districts that objected to it, which means we still have to go back to the Rotary themes. So you see, even at the latest Council of Legislation discussion groups that we had, they're still objecting to the usage of the service of self as our official theme. Now, quickly, something on this classification itself. Sorry. Okay. Now, classification is today not there in our Rotary clubs, but there are some clubs that still follow this. It is a good practice to have a classification in a club. Remember, it is loaned to a Rotarian, can be any time withdrawn from a Rotarian if you don't do 60% of your service to that particular vocation that you are in. So you must actually get back into the classification if you want to do it. It's a good way to get things done. Now, the open classifications are basically, open classifications are 3 things. One is the diplomatic service, one is for colleges and medias. Now, these are people, you have any number of them joining a particular Rotary club. Okay, open classification, like I said, diplomatic, clergy, and media as well. Now going on to this, of course, the poetess, all of you know this, he was one of our guiding principles. The man who gave us to us was Herbert Taylor. He was trying to restructure his aluminum company, and he came up with this poetess. He was president in the year 1930, I think more than 1930 something, when he served as club president. And remember, there's one of the items in our records that has been translated in 100 languages worldwide. So you see, the poetess is something that we actually should be very proud of. Okay, so let's move on. We also have the Rotary Code of Ethics that is with us. And we also have the Rotary Code of Ethics again, which is clearly defined. You can actually look this up in our records. We have the Code of Conduct itself for our Rotarians. You know, you have to really look into it. And finally, as we move on, we have the Declaration of Rotarians in Business and Profession, a document that normally we give to our inductees at our club meetings itself. Remember, there are 2 times in a career of a Rotarian that we stand up. One is during his induction, and the second time is when he passes away. Right? So there are only 2 times for a Rotarian that we actually stand up. Okay? So every Rotarian is an example to youth. For the 49 and 1949, the RI adopted the slogan, every Rotarian, an example to youth, for the expression of commitment to children and to youth in which Rotary clubs exist. My friends, leadership is not a position. It is an action and an example you set for others to follow. For it is said, concentrate all your thoughts on the task at hand, for the sun's rays do not burn until it's brought to a focus. But Elizabeth Graham, thank you, my friends, and have a pleasant day, and we'll be with you again. Thank you so much.